You want it? We have it. The hottest mortgage and real estate strategy broadcast in the nation. A Smarter Way Home with your host, Danielle Boote and Victor Bals. 50 years combined experience, ranked in the top 1% in the nation for home loan originations 2020. Promise to expand your knowledge, utilizing creative mortgage financing and home buying strategies. Build a bridge for a better quality of life. Get your brain cells firing for a smarter way home. And welcome to another episode of A Smarter Way Home. We have modern mortgage and home buying solutions for both real estate professionals and consumers alike. My name is Victor Bals, loan origination over 20 years, and I eat this stuff for breakfast. And today I want to introduce my co-hostess with the most, is fresh back from Cabo, Mexico, Mrs. Danielle Boote.
Good morning. That's a little too much energy for me in the morning.
Yeah, so you're back from Cabo. What'd you do in Cabo?
We were there for President's Club for our company.
And what does that entail?
Well, the corporate takes the top 40 producers nationwide to Cabo every year. Well, I shouldn't say Cabo every year, but we went to Cabo this year. So this was actually last year's trip, but I was invited as a manager. So we went and got to meet a lot of cool people, and we're at a very amazing resort.
And it's been kind of a tough year in the real estate and mortgage world. So to become a top producer in this environment, that's something nice to say, or at least it's Cabo. Yeah. You can say Cabo. So what do we got going on today here, Danielle?
So I'm super excited to introduce our guest today. So we have one of the top producing real estate teams in Livingston County with us today, Pat Lotz and Chris Lotz from Real Estate One.
Welcome aboard, guys, or
Thank
gals,
you.
guys and gals.
Yeah, thanks. Good to be here.
Oh, good. So, Pat, I've known you through the years. We've crossed paths a couple times in transactions through the years, but I actually came to see you at Oak Point about 3 weeks ago when they had some panel. You were one of the panelists.
Yes.
On there, and I was so impressed, and that's what drove us to bring you on the show there, and we had Monica bring on, because you were talking about something about being successful, and you are a bit old school with a lot of direct mailers and staying in touch with your clients there. And could you elaborate on that and what's brought you into the business first, about your family and that, and then we want to go into what makes you so successful consistently.
Okay, what brought me in the business, me and my husband invested in real estate early on. His dad was a commercial realtor, so we got into it early. And then I was blessed to be at home, raising the kids, and helped him with his consulting business and did the real estate. So when I turned 40, he said, it's time to go back to work. I go, what? But I was ready. I evolved there.
So you became a real estate agent at 40 years old?
At 40 years old.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was hesitant just because I didn't know if I wanted to do it, but he had said, hey, look, it's an opportunity for us. You know it, so just do it. And so I went to class. I took the class, and like 3 months later, I decided, well, maybe I better take the exam. And I know I'm really excited about this, right? So I did. And I did pass it the first time. It was, of course, I didn't think I did, but then I started to look at brokerages, and then I got an opportunity to meet an agent at church, and she said, "Hey, go talk to an agent in Ann Arbor that's a top producer, and she might want to hire you as a buyer's agent." And I go, "Well, what is that?" And 22 years ago, so I did, and I had a 2-year contract with her. And, my first year I did 25 deals, and it was really...
That's huge.
It was huge, but I was working it, and really what it was is I was picking up her garbage. I had to follow leads from her. Remember the signs that have the 1-800 numbers?
Yes. Yeah.
And then I did open houses every Sunday. So that's old school. And then from there I just kept doing it, and then I came to Brighton here because I am from Brighton. So I came back and worked with another top producer for a few years, and then she retired. So I said, it's time to be an independent agent. And the kids were older then too. So, but the beauty of the buyer's agent is you don't have to invest in all the marketing and all, what goes along with that, and a full service agent, which is, crazy. So I just had that.
So you focused on buyers.
For probably 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah, for 5 years. So, and again, it just worked out.
It's funny because my daughter is a new agent, just came into the business this year. So this is the only market she knows. It's not a hayride like it was, where you list a house and it's gone in, 14 seconds.
Right.
And what she does this weekend, I go, hey, you're going to go out to dinner with me and Mom. We're going to go up to Frankenmuth. No, Dad, I got open houses. I go, what do we know open houses? You don't have any listings. She goes, no, I'm going to do open houses for other realtors. And that's how she's trying to pick up buyers. And then she does these videos and puts it out on Facebook and she's picking up some traction. So she's doing it old school. And I think she actually got that from you because she was at that meeting too.
Yeah, I know. And, and the thing is that I just am a firm believer that you have to talk to people during the day about what you do. And the first thing they ask you is, how's the market? So the conversations can go. You just have to be in front of people. And I just, I'm really at these open houses, just real lay back and, don't sign that in, sign in. I don't do any of that business. It's just, hi, here am I, here the house. I always was able to educate them too about other properties that are similar that they may be interested in. So not just trying to sell my product. Of course, it's educating them about what else is available that might meet their needs.
Oh, wait a minute. So at an open house, you not only highlight the house that you're in, you bring similar comps of similar homes in the area just in case that potential buyer doesn't like the one you're showing.
No, by the way, there's a really nice neighborhood down the way. It's in this price point, yada, yada, yada. Here is the MLS sheet. So that, and then I used to hand out maps. Remember the book maps?
Oh, yeah.
A map. What is a map?
I love those maps.
You mean a paper map?
A book.
Yeah, remember the book with the grids so that
Yeah.
you knew where the
We used to
quadrant
pick them
was?
up at the Elkhart, the
Yes.
Association of
Yes,
Realtors.
yeah.
Love them. I still have some. I love them. So, that's how I got started.
Well, ultimately, it's a relationship business.
That's
and if
what
you
it
don't
is.
put yourself out there to get out and be meeting people,
And a lot of people will say, well, open houses are a waste of time. I go, I had a blast. My kids were little. I went and read the paper and I met people.
Yeah.
So to me, I know it sounds weird, but I enjoyed them. And again, just talking to people. And that's how they remember your name.
yeah.
Well, the amount of times that we see repeat buyers at more open houses, then that just is touches, and it converts to business. And I can tell you many, many times that I've been doing open houses for the past, well, actually this July will be 2 years, me being an agent. And the amount of times that we get the same people through similar open houses, and they're working with agents, they've been working with agents, and by no means is it taking business from other agents, but they say, hey, it's not working out. We want to come to you. So getting it in front of people, showing your face, reps. I'm big on sales data, stats, things like that, to show how many touches you actually need before you see conversion and how many touches salespeople actually follow up. It's crazy.
Go. Give me some stats, man.
So
What do you got?
I have to pull out my phone to really be factual.
Wing
on this
it.
breakdown,
Wing it
but
a
I'll
bit,
wing it.
but...
They say 75% of sales reps make one contact, don't follow up. And then that drops significantly or raises significantly when you go to 2, 3, 4 touches. And then on the flip side, on the first touch, you have a 10% chance of converting business.
Okay. 2,
it's 12, it's 15, 3, it's 17, 4, it's 20. At 5, it goes up to 75%.
Conversion.
And that's on anything. Okay. So touches.
So let's talk about the touches there. Are you finding that emails working significantly more, or texting, phone calls? Is it what's working out there? What do you find?
Yeah, new business or pre-existing business?
I don't know. Let's dial down. Dial in.
And actually, we have been doing YouTube for a few years now. We do a little short form podcast. It is something that we're going to talk about here in the near future, what we do. Ultimately, we try to do everything. Direct mailers, as you said. We're doing YouTube. We're doing social media. We're doing email blasts, constant contact, touch on our sphere. We do gifts. We've started to do seasonal home maintenance things. So that's a lot of things.
Seasonal home maintenance, is that via email that you're touching your clients, or how do you touch your clients?
I'm a talker, so I like to make phone calls. He might throw a text out. Yeah. He might text, but I go, it's a call. It's a call. This is a call. This is touching your sphere. It's so, we're balancing each other out.
So in a sense, those calls are, one, maintenance, but two, it's also prospecting, and three, it also makes you feel like you're doing something.
Absolutely. And I just love to call and say, hey, how you doing? Da da da. We did some gig this year where we just gave our clients. I'm not into parties. I like to party myself. I like to a party in a package, but I don't like to do community things like the spicers and the client appreciation parties. I don't know. That just is hard for me because I'm only one person and all these people don't know each other, and what are we going to talk about? But so we decided a couple of years ago we give furnace tune-ups to some of our top clients and say, hey, so-and-so is going to come and give you a tune-up. We appreciate your business.
And you actually pay for that tune-up for your clients because they are your AAA or the clients that you've come to know, love, trust, and have a relationship with.
And think about
That's a pretty good idea.
Well, think about it. It's hard to get people to your functions. Everybody's busy. What motivates them? What will bring them there? Not just to see me. That they don't want to just see me.
Well, we thought, what is something that maybe I would take advantage of, or buyers and sellers are not currently taking advantage of or doing within home maintenance? So, it's gutter cleanings, it's window washings, it's HVAC tune-ups, things
furnace
like that.
tune-ups, because
nobody does those. I go, and even my most particular clients, they go, what?
But it's a good touch. And that's the whole. It doesn't matter what it is. The point is that it's a great touch, and we love those touches.
Yeah, maybe you could send someone over to change all the batteries in my smoke detectors.
That's a good one.
Because as soon as I hear that beep, I spend an hour and a half trying to figure out which smoke detector it is. I don't know if you guys ever had that problem.
No.
You know what makes me think of? There was someone in that Krista Mayshore group that she actually employs 2 handymen. She goes, what does it cost for me to be your employer for the whole year? And they're like, well, 60 and 60, 120. She goes, done. And now those guys are on retainer, and she can not make them, but it's use my guys. So if you need the batteries replaced,
we got guys.
We got guys. That's also somebody in California doing, buku bucks to keep 2 handymen on retainer, but that's value. That's great.
Well, no, that's huge. That's really old school in a sense.
Well, what do
it's old school but new school. But there's a value there because I could imagine my wife would absolutely love a furnace tune-up.
Yeah.
That would,
or the window cleaning. That was a killer.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But think about what we do. We figured we put a thing together for spicers, and it cost us a couple $1,000, right? Mm-hmm. 2,000-3,000. I don't know what it cost us, but I go,
you could still clean a lot of windows for $3,000.
Hello,
50 homes or something like that.
Yeah.
They're like 125 to 200,
depending
$200
on what the house is. But
right.
I just went. We did spicers a few years ago. I go, I can't do this. I just can't do this. And it's not that I didn't love, and we had a great turnout, but I just didn't see the value, and I didn't see who I wanted to touch with that. So
okay. And so that type of environment or culture that you created with your clients, that brings you more business. Absolutely. Now, is the percentage of your business past clients, or are you still mining for new clients with your social media and all that? Could you explain that, please?
We do a lot of past client business, but he's mining. He does a lot of mining.
Okay. Statistically, I couldn't tell you what it is. For this year, I couldn't tell you if it's 70% sphere versus 30% new business, but there's definitely a good mix of flow.
I'm going through it right now, so I'm seeing. We're charting, where it's coming from. But
well, data is the gold, and looking at it takes a lot of time and a lot of diligence to look at that. But also, I respect the fact that somebody's doing something because you have to do it consistently. Because we got to call these clients, we got to get those mailers out. That takes a village to get all that done. In a sense, how do you guys manage that, Chris? Is that?
That's one. Before you answer that, that's like the number one question we get is what are you guys doing? Like, where's the team? And don't get me wrong, we have 2 people that work with us. My Aunt Lori, her sister, and then my wife. her
Okay,
daughter-in-law.
but for 20 years, all by
Yes.
myself.
by herself.
Up until what, about 2.5, 3 years ago,
Yeah.
it was just you, Pat.
She's had somebody throughout the years, every so often. So there was
Right.
Mary for 6 months, but two, I don't think that the Mary of the world, and Mary's fictitious, but the Mary of the world was doing 100% of the admin load or whatever that looks like. So when I came back in 2020, and me and my wife are very efficient, high end technology, blah blah blah.
Yep.
I looked at her and I go, how the hell are you doing this? I go, this makes no sense.
Yeah.
And I meet down, and I got a bunch of buddies at KW Living, and we have conversations, and they're like, hey, CRM, hey, digital CMAs, hey, this. And I go, bro, it's on a piece of paper. I go, I don't know. She just does it. And no one can put their finger to how it is done.
Yeah, the one thing.
There's two schools of thought in real estate, and this has kind of evolved over the better part of 30 years, honestly, I think, but particularly in the last 5 to 10 years. You either have solo agents or you have teams. Now, here's the interesting thing, being on the mortgage side of the world. We also talk to the buyers that are also sellers. And I will tell you, in my opinion, there's mixed reviews from the customers to say, are they happier having a team approach where they don't know who's going to be showing them that next house, or they completely lose contact with the team lead? Or are they happier when they feel that they've got the representation of the top agent
And you said
and their team?
You said that's mixed.
I think it's mixed, yeah,
Okay,
because
yeah.
not everybody's happy with the team, but to see how you have evolved, Pat, and knowing you, Chris, for the past couple of years, because we've done a few deals, that you go, people want that personal touch.
That nurture. Nurture.
If, everybody was worried about Zillow getting into real estate, Rocket Homes, right? All of this potential competition. And at the end of the day, one of the worst transaction I ever had was a Redfin agent. Okay? Where this is somebody that's not a regular real estate agent, that is on some kind of a salary and paid to open a door. Like, the deal wouldn't have closed if we wouldn't have been involved, because there's no knowledge. And one of the things with real estate is that there's so many things that can go sideways. There's seller issues, there's buyers issues, there's house issues. I kid you not, this is a call that I got yesterday from one of our loan officers. The deal was clear to close. FHA buyer was supposed to close today. They went and did the final walkthrough. Someone stole all the copper plumbing. Wow. No,
It's 2009 again.
2009 again, exactly.
Whoa.
So, we had to dive in, come up with a solution, and go, we're going to delay closing, but here's what our options are, and here's how we're going to do it. This was not the seller's fault. The house was vacant, and it was not the buyer's fault. And the realtors are going to have to get involved, help, put the deal back together because someone broke in and stole the plumbing. People want to be taken care of. They don't want to be a number. And the amount of stress between buying a house, selling a house, so I love to see the growth that you've had, Pat, bringing Chris aboard, because you're still maintaining that personal touch. Your clients will know who Pat Lotz is, even if Chris is working the transaction. And, the family feel, I think, is also really cool, because I think that, you cannot lose touch with your clients, because then they won't remember you.
And that's what's important to me, is that people will go, do you want a team? You want a team? I go, no, I don't want a team. I want just me. And I want to, that's what I love about what I do. And that's what I do well at. I mean, I have weaknesses, and they are, like he said, I said, how do you do this? I go, I just do it. But I know what my strengths are.
But we're not keeping, and I want to touch on one thing that you just said. I just do. We're not keeping score. We're not keeping track of things. I don't even know where our numbers are right now. We keep our head down. We stay focused. And at the end of the year, we'll look up and go, oh, wow. I guess we had an okay year.
Yeah.
It's not one thing. It's everything together that just kind of pays off like an orchestra. It really sounds good.
Breaking news. Breaking news, by the way. Officially, I'm going to change my name to Patrick. So it doesn't matter who you call.
Okay.
That ain't bad.
But to your point, people care about that.
Yes.
People care about who's answering that phone or who's responding to those text messages. That's what we believe. But that's the good thing about, Pat and Chris, I guess, is Chris is not just as good as Pat, but with Chris, you're going to get the ability of Pat Lotz or that communication.
Well, but I also see that as setting expectations up front, because myself, I have 4 people on my team. And when I don't set those expectations up front that the Flo, Monica, Beth, or Kazi may be reaching out to you, then they say, well, what's going on? Who am I talking to? Why am I responding? So it's about setting those expectations. But I want to go back to something you said about CRMs and database management. Oh, we got to schedule furnace cleanouts and all that. To me, that still comes down to time blocking. Someone's got to do it. So you must have some disciplines about making those calls, sending those texts. What is your day like, Chris?
Well, 2 words: my wife. For both of us.
His wife is amazing, number one. If anything happens, Chris goes, she stays.
That's the same in my house. Yeah.
No, Hannah is just priceless.
She dotted her I's, crosses her T's 3 times, period.
Yeah.
She, I've never time blocked in my life. I've done professional sales a little bit, and I'll give the short story about my background. I did medical sales for 7-8 years, orthopedic implants. I was in DC, Chicago. Thousands and thousands of dollars have been put into me with professional sales training. So I have those procedures, and I'll take real estate transactions and issues over orthopedic surgeons throwing things at walls any single day of the week. It's just a different environment. Orthopedic sales is sexy, and I've had a lot of those things installed into me, but I necessarily didn't always take advantage of them. So I always go back to, what are we doing right now to make sure that we're becoming better at those? My wife, period.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow, that's interesting.
Do you agree?
Oh, yeah. She sets us up. And she is really the key to gluing us all together. She's got an IT background, and she just is. I just say, hey, Hannah, we team and say, God, where are we lacking? What are we doing? What are we going to do? And she'll say, we'll talk about it. And she implements. She implements. We have great ideas.
Yeah.
Our implementation. You're pretty good. You
vision and integrator.
Yeah.
And I think that we're very, very much vision focused or visionaries. We just need those integrators. And honestly, when I look back on it for the relationship between me and my wife, it is the definition of a partnership. Everything I'm good at, she's not, and I'm talking about arbitrary things. Everything that I'm bad at, she's not. And it's a rise up type mentality. And that's a great point to put is, the team is mom and son, wife, and an aunt. So
it's got to work, right? Or Christmas and Thanksgiving will
little
be
weird.
really not fun.
Yeah, you're talking about those transactions at the Thanksgiving table.
And that happens. Well, we get yelled at by my mother-in-law sometimes.
Yes.
To be like, hey, no real estate. No real estate today.
Because we really still get into it.
Well, Well, you've got, the issue with realtors or salespeople in general is that you're action people, right? You have to be on the road, showing houses, listing properties, worrying about where the next listing flyer is coming up, scheduling the open house. You're not in one spot. It's not a 9-to-5 job, and you're not just sitting in the office, right? It happens 7 days a week.
Yeah.
So you have to have somebody strong on the back end. To kind of keep all of that moving forward.
Yeah, it's definitely a lifestyle. And people, last thing I'll say on, I guess, relationships is somebody asked me recently, and it was a female, and she goes, that sounds awesome to work with your significant other and your mother-in-law. I said, time out. I go, time out. Think about what you just said.
Yeah.
And real estate is 7 days a week, 24/7.
Oh, yeah.
So, for me and
especially when you go on vacation. Yeah.
Want some business, go on vacation. 24/7 to be able to separate that church and state.
Yeah.
Or are we talking personally or are we talking professionally? And it's no different than this right here. Are we talking personally or are we talking professionally? But that's why it works for us, is because those lines are blurred often. And to be able to do that and it to not be weird at Thanksgiving, it's got to be a great relationship.
Yeah.
Well, and it's new. I called him up and said, hey, do you want to join me? I can't maintain this volume by myself. I said, I'm just can't work 10-hour days, 7 days a week anymore.
The phone, you could still do the listing side, obviously, but that phone rings constantly. And the amount of buyers that we've converted over the past year and a half or so since I've been on, is pretty impactful of the business.
Yeah, because, I was probably losing business.
Right.
$200,000 of business.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I knew that.
Yeah.
I mean, I go, okay, I've got to do something.
But you're a prominent listing agent. So
Yes.
how do you handle buyers by yourself? You can't.
Well, I did my best.
Correct.
And so I did my best, but I lost a lot because my follow up was weak. I didn't have any energy. I couldn't keep up with that. So that's when I called him, and he said, "Well, Mom, da, 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 da." And he said, "Okay," and I said, "Well, because then it's yours. Let me hang for 5-10 more years, but we'll make this transition."
Yeah.
So we, new light, new energy, and we have conversations because he's got a deal going. It's a little mucky. I'll give him my opinion on maybe how to handle it, how I would based on my experience. Well, he doesn't really like that answer. So he'll brew about it for a bit. And I have a 24-hour rule that he's caught on to is we don't do anything and if we have a problem for 24 hours. Just let's get the emotion out of it.
It depends what it is.
Yes,
but definitely
yeah.
there's a lot of, agents, sellers, buyers that just respond with emotion right away.
Yes.
Yes.
And then we're like, hey,
Yeah.
hey, let's
We're
just
not
wait
doing
till-
that.
Yeah, logic
Yeah.
sets in, and then
Yes.
we'll talk about these
Like your
things.
deal yesterday that you handled, but it's based on your experience of how we're going to put this together. So you don't freak out. I
No.
mean, because I don't typically freak out. I don't freak out.
We see those conversations generally right after a home inspection.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden there's those emotions, and they're a couple $1,000s apart and a couple repairs
Yeah.
apart, and then we get those people speaking immediately. But I like that idea, the 24-hour rule. Let's think about what's best.
Yeah, and it depends on what it is. I mean, I go, well, should I call the client? I said no, because we haven't handled it yet.
Right.
We don't know how we're going to handle it and present it and set those expectations up.
Get all the options on the table.
Yeah. And, and we might be upset about something.
And there are times with real estate, mortgage side or the real estate side, where there are a lot of problems that come up. And I have always felt that our job is to somewhat insulate our customers.
Absolutely.
Because we sometimes can fix things on the back end or work it through or get it to a solution almost before we have to let the client know.
Absolutely.
And that's our job.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, and that's also the realtor, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Realtor and the mortgage loan officer talking together, because a lot of times that home inspection issue is going to affect the mortgage side of it too. But so it's about that relationship there too, to have that 24 hours to come up with options to deliver to the seller, the buyer, and everybody at play. So very interesting there.
So we work that stuff through. I mean, there's times that I asked him his opinion one time on an offer. I was doing the offer. And he goes, well, no, I would do it this way. I go, oh, no, I'm going to do it my way. Bye. And he goes, really?
Why'd you ask me?
I go, well, because I just was bouncing it off you.
What was the deal? What was the question?
I don't know, but it was.
I think it was a non-refundable EMD.
Ooh.
And I said, I wouldn't do that.
And I did.
Yeah. And then she did. And then they
He
had to back
lost
out
it.
and lost the EMD. And I said, that's why I said it.
Wait a minute, though. It was my other
Yeah,
son.
it was other sons.
So did you win or dinner off that?
Well, he owes me. No, I don't know who owes me dinner, but
I owe him $5,000.
That's what it is. She owes Ben a few bucks.
It's really
He'll
quite
never
funny.
collect, but
Wow.
I'll always remind her.
Yeah. It was
Wow.
just funny. He goes, Mom, $5,000. I go, dude, you got it. But he backed out because there were some serious moisture issues in the crawl, and he didn't want to deal with them. Right. So, and then he found another house, and he's much happier. So,
Yeah, it all worked out, but it was the loss of $5,000.
Yeah, that hurts.
Which he got a good deal on the other house. So
He
I guess
did.
when you're breaking even, maybe he's saving money.
I saved him a lot.
And he got a
of
free
money.
boat.
Yeah.
And a free boat.
But that 5,000 still cleans a lot of windows.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Well, but real estate in the past few years has been very, very different, right? Very different. So some of the negotiating strategies we've had to use, we never used. Doesn't matter how long you've been in the business.
It's crazy to
we
think
never
about.
saw non-refundable EMDs. We never saw people waiving home inspections.
Right.
Paying $50,000 over.
Or waiving appraisals even if we needed one.
Yeah.
You know.
It was
Boy.
just crazy. And to guide your clients to make those decisions is painful. But,
Well,
know.
in the past 2 years, though, I don't think that we've waived one inspection.
No, I don't. I
Really?
don't like
Okay.
that.
So
No, I don't
we do try to utilize those strategies. We have utilized a non-refundable EMD in certain situations when we knew it was more or less a slam dunk.
Right.
But that, I guess, it's the one or the other. Non-refundable EMD, but we want our inspection type thing. And again, knock on wood.
Pass or fail,
Pass
maybe.
or fail. Yeah, and we've definitely done the informational purposes only on like one or a few deals, the pass fails. But we kind of always try to articulate within that listing agent to say, hey, we're not here to nickel and dime you. We want to focus on health and safety, but we never make it truly contractual.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, that's a lot of liability to be put on us.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about the shift here in the market, because now we are seeing some price drops. We're in a higher interest rate environment. We're seeing a lot of people kick to the curb, or they're waiting for the market to crash, right? They're waiting for rates to come down. They're saving money so they could put 20% down to get out of PMI. They're waiting for something. They're justifying waiting so they don't have to make a decision. But we are starting to see price drops. We are starting to see seller concessions. We're seeing the 2-1 buy downs becoming very, very popular. What are you seeing in the current market and how to stay alive? I think a lot of agents are going to be out of the business here.
Yeah, they are. But I think it's just still doing what I do. I just think that might be extra touches. It might be, but it's just we're doing what we're doing a lot more. I'm doing a lot of more. We're doing more touches to our sphere. I think that's a lot of where our bread and butter is. So we've just got to nurture those relationships. And hey, just thinking about this is what's going on in the market.
Of the home buyers that you're working with, are you seeing the jitters, the uncertainties they're out there, and what conversations are you having with these people, if any?
Great question. One thing to capitalize on her point is I think that we just try to focus on controlling what we can control. We can't control the interest rates. We can't control anything. Right. So we can focus on our marketing, our advertising, our touches, things like that. But the conversations that I'm having, one, I think that it's important that every single buyer's agent has, roughly a few questions to ask their agents. When was the last time you bought a house, sold a house? Because we're buying and selling every single day personally. I'm buying rentals. We're doing fix and flips. So if it's not deterring me from wanting to buy or sell, then I don't think that it should be an impact on you. It makes the answer or the pill hard to swallow, because 7% on a CD is a lot harder to swallow than a 3% on a CD. So I get that. But if the numbers make sense, if your timelines are there, and I'm talking about, hey, is this house going to be a 10 to 15 year home or a 3 to 5 home? If it's a 3 to 5 home, we might want to ask ourselves a bigger question. So I don't know if that answers your question, but I try to reassure them that, again, I understand. I'm doing the exact same thing you guys are doing on different properties. And what are investments going for right now? 9%? If I got a duplex loan, 20% down, it'd probably be close to 9%, right?
No, not necessarily. A little bit lower than that, but you're still paying the high discount points and all that. But does it cash flow out? That's all. With the current rents, that's all you care about. Yeah. Because, again, you marry that home and date that loan.
Yep.
Yeah. But so if people trust us, and that's the big thing about our buyers right now, is they really trust what we have to say. And if there's people that over the past year and a half had and I don't want to say trust issues, but I guess are questioning whether they're making the right decisions, and we've been working with them for a year or so, they could have bought a home at 3% and they could have got a bigger home, a better interest rate, and it all would have worked out. And that's what we've been saying for the whole time. And are they getting advice from somebody else that isn't buying and selling consistently? That's the difference.
Or are they just listening to multiple sources on the internet, which I think is very dangerous for anybody.
Yep.
Ultimately with real estate, life happens. People get married, people have families, people get divorced, people pass away, or people get elderly and need to make a life change.
Or they relocate.
Retires, or they relocate, or there's a job change. Real estate is always about life changing, right? Or needing something to change. And, if you don't look at that as an opportunity, regardless of where interest rates are, we've had many conversations. What was your first interest rate when you and Jeff bought your first house?
I think it was 12%. 8%.
Yeah, we were 10.5 in 1990. And Jim and I didn't know any better. No. He was paying rent. I was paying rent. We were like, well, let's buy a house. Yeah. And we did. And we haven't looked back. And, honestly, even when you look back to the 08, 09 era, okay? Not everybody could refinance their home. The lowest I got our house in Pinckney at one point was 5.5%. And I couldn't refinance for many years until I came up with this crazy strategy to, because we had a second mortgage because we put an addition on.
Right.
And you go, well, does that mean I wasn't going to make my house payment? Heck no.
Right.
So, when it becomes your home or it becomes your investment, I've lost money in real estate, but I've also made a lot of money in real estate. And, our 2 adult children have made a ton of money in real estate in the last 5 or 6 years. And the funny thing is with my oldest daughter, my husband didn't want her to buy a house when we first bought it in 2016. She was working full time, finishing her master's, and what she was paying in rent was a ridiculous amount of money. And my husband was like, she doesn't need a house. She doesn't need that. And I'm like, it's on a slab. It's way cheaper than her apartment. We'll be fine. And I basically had to tell my daughter, I will back you. If you get transferred out of state, I'll deal with the house. She made a ton of money, had down payment for the next house, and paid off her student loans with the equity that she built in her home. When you go, she's 30, and you go, you wouldn't have had that opportunity if you would have stayed in that apartment. You're paying off somebody else's mortgage essentially, and you can't be afraid. And the millennials right now, right, the young adults between 24 and 39 are bigger than the baby boomers.
Yeah.
They're not buying houses in their 20s. They're buying houses in the late 20s, in some cases early 30s, but they still want to buy houses.
Exactly. And, everybody's going to buy it. It's just where you are and who you're going to buy it with. So we just want it to be us.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. So, we love what we do, and we just keep doing it.
Well, and you're everywhere. I love seeing your listing signs. I'm on your mailing route. I get your posts.
I like looking at the football calendar on our refrigerator at the office.
Yes, you're even on the fridge at the office.
I've had so much success with that. It's, I think, year 3, and people are just so kind. They even call me up. Well, I don't have any real estate, but really thank you for this. And that, that means $1 million to me. I don't, it just is really kind of cute.
Yeah.
The amount of times that I walk into homes and go show them, and there's a Pat Lotz calendar on there, and I'm like, oh, cool, that's awesome. And we didn't get that business, but I guess at the closing table, we get a lot of that. We see your name everywhere. We see your name everywhere. So that's all we really try to strive for.
Yep. That's all you want to do here. So as we wrap up the show here, how do we let our consumers know how to get a hold of you guys?
PatLotz.com.
And is there a cell number that they can get a hold of you?
Mine is 734-637-3668.
And if you didn't get that, it's on a billboard off of 96. I don't know if you've seen that, but it's off of 96 and Mason Road, and that number's everywhere.
And what's your number, sir?
734-474-8713.
And the website again?
It's PatLotz.com.
Okay. Any closing words for our consumers at all about the market?
Again, I think that at the end of the day, it's a consideration. But I'm still buying, I'm still selling. There's money to be made. It depends on how much money is to be made, or I guess, certain price points. I wouldn't focus on those things. Control what you can control. Can't control the interest rates.
And it's an opportunity for us. We're going to still be standing and, plugging away. And we have our new little tagline is "There's lots to love in Livingston County."
Oh, that's kind of cool.
I love that.
Well, I picked that up a couple years ago. I always thought people go, "You need to do something with your last name." I go, "I hate vacant land."
Lots.
I go, "I don't want to promote that."
But there's lots to do.
There's lots. A gal told me that. I was at a marketing thing, and she said, "Well, where do you live?" And I go, "Livingston County." She goes, "There's lots to love in Livingston County." Boom. So we love
Slam
that.
dunk.
Yeah, that's really good there.
I think that's on all the postcards.
Yeah.
Do we put that on the postcards?
There's
I
lots
think
to
so,
love.
Yeah. I think
Wife's doing all the graphic design. And
Oh, I could see that in Christmas wrapping paper.
Oh, good one.
Isn't it? Yeah. There's
Blue and white.
Okay.
Yeah,
That'll be one window cleaning.
For your wife.
Yeah. Danielle, any closing words for our guest here?
Well, thank you so much, Pat and Chris. It was fabulous to see you, and we love having you on the show, and wish you the best. The holidays are coming, and look forward to seeing your signs all over
Yeah,
the
well, thanks for
county.
having us. We always love to work with you.
Oh, that was a wonderful show. And that was Danielle Boote. We got Chris and Pat Lotz, and I am Victor Bales, your host, and we will see you next time on A Smarter Way Home.